Howdy diddy-o. We made it. It's Friday. TGIF.
We barely made it today.
TGIF.
I am on location for vacation,
Yeah. Location for what?
and I've been given a window of opportunity, and I'm going to use it for live streaming purposes. But I cannot overdo it today because we have things to do. I am on vacation. So
Yeah.
I'm just glad the weather sucks right
Within
now.
arm's reach.
I did bring the bad boy with me. I brought Fat Boy with me, and I've been doing a little bit of flying with the simulator. I can tell you a little bit about what I feel about the simulator.
Well, now this is interesting. Isn't this the same person that's been saying simulators are for wussies?
No, I've never said simulators are for wussies. I said it's really hard to understand the dynamics of your drone. I think simulators have a purpose, but I think it's easier to not fly with or to fly without a simulator. But if you don't really understand how your sticks work together, you have to use simulator time. Or, you've got to learn the hard way, which is to go out and crash a whole lot. And I don't think you have to. I think you just, especially if you're buying this thing, you might as well just try it because I think the number one thing this simulator is good for is it forces you to use your buttons. It forces you to actually fly it just like you're supposed to. How you put it into manual mode, you have to use the same sequence of instructions. So I think that's where the value is.
It builds muscle memory.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Big time.
But before we get into muscle memory, and
we should say hi.
Yeah, let's say hi to everybody here. So we got. Let's start at the front. Ben T, first one in. Kovacs Pornography. And Eat More Possum. Doc Murdoch. And who else do we have? Tim Jackson. AZ Drone Dude.
Kovaction Dronography. I see that.
I don't know what's going on with the chat here, and I'm looking into it, Chuck. I don't know why this thing is doing or what it is doing here.
What's it doing?
It just says he was timed out for 5 seconds.
I was timed out?
No, Kovacs, Chuck.
Oh. Maybe he was being bad. Tim Jackson. Hello. Chris Hope. How you doing? Rodney Bell. How you doing?
Yeah.
Doc Murdoch.
So first of all, our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of Ray Calver. He apparently passed today.
Yeah, I just found that out like just a few minutes ago because Kai, you shared that with me. I had no idea.
Yeah, and I just saw it coming through the news ticker. So
yeah, I had no idea. And I did see him on a stream, but he was looking pretty rough. He was looking in tough shape at that time, and from where I saw his last video I saw of him. So we lost a good one. We lost somebody that's been dedicated to.
Very involved in the community. You've seen him everywhere. So,
and he will be missed.
That's a sad day.
So that is definitely something that weighs on all the streams for the next couple of days. Yep.
Anyhow, so who else? Woody Drones on is here. Chris Hope. Hello.
I wish my chat would pop up here.
So Doc Murdoch, I know you've seen it last night, was the little tungsten rotating bit on the front of that drone. I think that's him for combat drones right there, or battle drones, whatever the hell we're going to call it.
Oh, you guys get the battle drone thing still going on for all the smack talk going on for that.
Yeah, no, apparently somebody built a drone for first responders that has a little tungsten bit on the front of it that's rotated on an extra motor that'll smash in glass. Basically, it's just a piece of metal with two tungsten bits on either end of it, mounted to another motor that they can switch on demand. Just rotates a little freaking tungsten bit at whatever 10,000 RPM. Yeah, it don't smash any window.
You guys are talking awfully destructive. We're supposed to be constructive here. We're not trying to take each other down and be combative. We're supposed to be like one with each other, right? We're supposed to be like drone.
We'll just chop the arms off of that.
One with the drone community. I hope everybody's getting some decent weather, man. It's been. I went to the desert and it rained, so it's snowing back home. So if I was back home today, it was they got a bunch of snow. At least it looked like a couple inches, which is pretty weird but Texas is in good shape, right? What are you guys about?
We're
40, 50 degrees?
78 degrees.
What is it?
78.
78, really? Yeah. So the when I looked at the weather, it looked like it was coming from this. It looked like a monsoonal kind of weird flow. So it's coming. The moisture's coming from the south. There's enough cold air in the north yet, and it's created some pretty good sized snowstorms, especially on the Mountain West side. So, or the Mountain East.
In other words, while you're out and about looking for your retirement home, you also got out of snow shoveling duty. Is that it?
I'm not allowed to find a retirement home. I'm not allowed to find a retirement home here. There's nothing to do except shop and watch spring training, and after that, it gets hot.
They don't fly drones in Phoenix?
Oh, there's plenty of places to fly drones here. I passed a bunch of them.
You can, kind of hitch up your walker, make it have a little controller holder and a little drone holder, and
there's a nice park.
Goggles.
There's a nice park just across the street over here, and I'm looking down into a field right now, right next to our parking lot. Believe me, the thoughts cross my mind. Just buzz around in circles. There's a little grove of trees right down there. And just work on precision flight. I'm actually looking out the window. I'm looking out. I actually see the Arizona Cardinals practice facility. I can see their practice bubble right there from this perch that I'm at. So, but the weather's been good. We went to the Texas Rangers yesterday. Watched the Texas Rangers play the Oakland Athletics. Texas is going to have a long season. That's all I can tell you about Texas's pitching. So
Well, it all depends what you're pitching.
Well, if you're throwing baseballs, let me tell you something. They're going to have a long season.
That's where they go wrong. They're throwing balls. Give them some more incentive, hand them like a grenade.
Now, the Florida guys should know this. In Phoenix, they're only doing 7-inning games. My son is actually got a baseball dream still, so we're out here visiting him, and so we're hoping he can get drafted or get picked up. That would be very nice. Be a lot of hard work finally come to fruition. And then you got another, several years of basically eating beans and wieners and living out of really crappy hotels. But that's why he's in Arizona. So we come down to visit him. And, it's just
only 7 innings. Is that how long all the old farts there in Phoenix can stay being out in the sun, or?
Well, they only allow so many people in the park. So it's hard to get tickets. And then they spread out everybody, and then they tape your seats, so you can't leave your seats. You have to wear a mask the whole time. People, of course, there's a guy walking around that every so often says, "Hey, get your freaking mask on," that kind of stuff.
Oh, is that the guy that came back to you to put you?
He's also selling beer.
Well, you sent me pictures, and the only one in the picture without a mask on is yours truly.
Oh, yes. The kid is wearing a mask.
So you took the mask off, so the guy with the beer has to come back, talk to you, and while he's there, he can just leave you a beer. Is that the method to the madness there?
Well, it's choreography of eating, and it's not easy. It was nice out.
Well, that's what you all was talking about. You sucking down a hot dog?
Nope. Pulled pork. I didn't. No hot dogs. I broke the rules. I was thinking about it. I was going for the hot dog. The jumbo dog is like $9.
Is it wrapped in bacon?
It's best to not look at the price. Like, they're only getting 2,000 fans in those games. Usually there's 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 people at those games. Usually the outfield is packed, and almost all the infield or the good seats are usually filled. And there was not that many people, about 23 to 3,000 at the most. I think that's all they're allowing. But it's still fun. It's nice to get out, watch a little ball, a little baseball.
Oh, looky there. Sunrise Water Media is in the house.
How is he doing? Crap. Look at our stream here. I have to keep flipping back to the chat here. Hold on here. So did we get Dan Zelch? He was basically popped in. Yeah, Woody Drones. Who else did we miss? Got to go up through the list. But yeah. There's a little bit of activity going on other than the FPV drone activity. There should be things to talk about. There's always a new version. You sent me a couple of on the drone front today. You sent me the Cinebee version 3. I found a couple of
Bumblebee, not
the
Cinebee.
Bumblebee.
Bumblebee.
The Bumblebee. It's not the. Is that another one of those crocodile versus croc?
Well, they have a Cinebee and they have a Bumblebee.
The Bumblebee. Oh yeah.
It's two different. But I think this time it's by the same people.
Yeah, but what what size is the one that you have?
Mine is 3-inch, and it'd be like the Bumblebee.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, no, they've got the Bumblebee and they got the Cinebee. The Cinebee is just has the little ducted motors.
And that was Justin Davis when I watched that. That was pretty good. I always like to watch Justin Davis. He's, everything is the greatest drone ever, but he didn't say that at that time. He just was saying that you can get the same footage out of that as you can at the FPV, DJI FPV. He talked about the repairability, that kind of stuff. And that stuff you can't argue. You can't argue the idea of repairing, or because that's just one of the things you have to get over right away.
Well, I didn't want to go back down that DJI FPV rabbit hole this evening.
Well, we're not going down the rabbit hole. I'm trying to stay on the other side of it. I'm really looking at, I'd like to look at those, my problem is I can't check out those two sites, but the beta FPV drones too, the 3-inch and the 4-inch they've got out, the kits. You got a build kit.
No, not Beta FPV, Get FPV.
Get FPV. Yeah. Beta FPV is a freaking. I always do that. The Get FPV's got the two kits out. They got the kit, the build, and then you can buy it as a kit. Dude, what do you save by building it? What's the price difference? Building the 3 and the 4-inch. I would probably be, because was it the 4-inch that comes in a 6S?
The 4-inch only came on a 4S.
A 4S?
3-inch that you could get, and 4S.
A 6S, yes. Yeah, the
whatever I'll be building 6S only. I'm not even.
Yeah.
Because you can't take a 6S and stick a 4S battery and fly it, and you'd be fine.
Right. You've got more flexibility with that.
I know there are some motors that are rated 4S, so you can fly with 6S, but
right.
Play around with 5S batteries. I'm aware of all that, but
we've got to promote our build too. We've got some 3S Lion battery builds coming. We're going to throw together a couple of 3S batteries. We just got our supplies, so we're both ready to go. That shouldn't take very long. I bet you to build those two batteries probably takes maybe, I don't know, 30 minutes. If we're focused and everything's working correctly.
If
So
we are focused. Did I just
if
hear
I'm
those words
focused,
out of your mouth?
it's usually me that's not focused. I'm like, squirrel. Hey, we're working on this battery build, and then I start talking something else. Squirrel.
Oh, here's Ivan.
Ivan, it's about time. I told him he can't sleep in. Just because it's 1 o'clock in the morning in Bulgaria doesn't mean that he gets to freaking get a pass.
Yeah, I thought it was 2 o'clock in the morning.
2 o'clock? Oh man, is it another hour?
I mean, that would be just the time when you come out of the bar on a Friday night. As well, just saying.
Ben T. Ivan Dracoff in the house. How you doing? I love it. It's absolutely true. Oh man, I think I'm corrupting him because he believes everything I say. I think. Oh,
That's not a good idea.
exactly. You shouldn't believe any of us because we're all half full of crap. And if we say we freaking are experts, we probably are full of crap for sure. So we don't make that claim. It's kind of nice. I kind of like this idea of looking out into the expanse of flat, just countryside here, and then doing the stream. But I'm totally distracted if a bus drives by over there. I'm like looking up the street, going, "Hey, look at that car." Maybe this isn't a good thing. But you got to like the natural light, though. Kai, you know that you can set up right in front of a window and you get just perfect daytime like light conditions.
Yeah, I
Except
can
for that
control
glare.
the light condition on your glasses.
Yeah, I got
That's
a
about
bunch
all
of
we're seeing is the reflection of your glasses.
I got a bunch of crap about that. These are actually supposed to be reflection reducing. But if you put your finger behind there, it looks like an old man's magnified freaking crossword puzzle. Speaking of old man, I am in Phoenix, right? All right. Nope, we haven't found a
Steve
house yet.
Carpenter's here. Howdy,
So,
Steve.
so you got a drone meetup coming up too, don't you?
I have what?
You got a drone meetup coming up?
Yeah, I'm going to have some drone builds coming up. I'll be building a 4-inch SEP 250 6S. Going to have a little fun with that.
And did you finally you did decide on a frame finally?
Yeah. For this one, I'm going to use the Diatone F4 frame. Because the F4 frame, you can also buy the L3 arms for, and they still fit. So you can kind of go both directions with that.
So you just make the wires long enough for the 4-inch, and if you ever want to put 3-inch arms on, just squeeze it in.
Yeah. Or you put 3-inch props on. What's the 4-inch arms? You just have a bit more stability on it.
There you go. I guess that's true. Taking off a little weight. I don't know what the weight reduction would be. It'd probably be like 2 grams. Lose them that much on each arm. Yeah, I like the idea. I like the idea of being able to do that, where you can go, you know what? I would like, this is a 4-inch, even the long range, you could, I'd like to try, 3-bladed 3-inch props on the Flywoo. You could do that just for fun.
No, I'm also gonna get the 5-inch Shocker Ultralight from Catalyst Machine Works.
Oh yeah, it's right. We'll see. So you're going to go for the expensive frame?
It's a bit more expensive, but it's a lot lighter.
And then it's got the struts on the front. That's the other thing I kind of liked about that. The front arms are what's going to break.
Yeah.
And instead of connecting the front arms to the back arms with the Shocker, they basically just angle in a strut so you get a little bit more, a little bit
Which
more.
interconnects with the camera housing. So
Right.
it's a pretty sturdy front end on that, and only weighs like 52 grams.
Yeah, everything
It's
is
about
about
20
weight.
grams lighter than the Reckon frame.
Yeah, the next build like quad I'm going to go and look for will be definitely in the 3-inch, sub 4-inch category. It'll definitely be under 250. I might try to find a like a budget build, and then just throw in a Vista. So I have to find something that can take a Vista unit, or even probably a Vista unit. But there's a lot of budget builds out there that are, that have the wrong like controller in it, but it'd have to be compatible with DJI, so I could switch it over.
Well, I'm gonna modify this thing.
Yeah, but we were kind of
Beta FPV 85X. If you were thinking about buying it, just don't.
yeah, that went on sale. One, what is it, 189 or something? Or
Just 199.
yeah,
But just don't.
just say no.
Just say no. I bought the pusher.
What do you
kit.
hate about it? What do you hate about it? What happened to that thing? What was
It's a wobbly mess. I'm gonna have to go in and actually I'm not even gonna bother trying to fix the pits on this. I bought the pusher kit.
Uh-huh.
And I'm gonna flip this bad boy over and have to change over some motor reassignments, but change that to a pusher and hope it does a little better, and then do whatever fine tuning I need to.
Just too wobbly.
Too wobbly. It has the Nebular Nano camera on it, which
It's crap. Yeah.
don't, for flying indoors, I think it's all right.
Right.
Flying around the house, but you go outside with it and it's so blown out. It's crap.
And there's so many good cameras now. You don't have to have that. That's the problem, is the companies are starting to come to the table with better and better things with the digital systems, and the benefit of any system is that you work within it, because you're a Crossfire flyer, if you're a digital receiver guy, it's nice to have that build right within your sweet spot there. But a lot of the older builds are it's hard to find people that want them, so that's why you're seeing more sales. But yeah, we'll see. There's still quite a bit of still a lot of DJI discussion going on right now. So,
well, what I would like to experiment with is RunCam makes the camera for the SharkBite system.
mm-hmm.
And I'd sort of like to see if they are interchangeable between SharkBite and DJI. I mean, they both use a ribbon cable, or the ribbon connector on it. I couldn't tell you if they're the same or not. I'll have to do some research into that.
Yeah, there's a whole camera market out there that right now is trying to find basically a place to go, because everybody's, like I said, all the talk is moving to digital. So now you want to be compatible with the SharkBite system, and I don't know, they're trying to, everybody's trying to find a market, and it's a tough one right now. I think it's kind of like, if you're already kind of in a place where you're happy, you know, you shouldn't just jump right quite yet. I think there's a lot of things going to happen in the next, probably 3 to 4 months, and we'll see. We've got a lot of cool camera systems that came out. Probably another discussion we need to have is the new Instago 2, where we're finding out that as cool as it is and as cool of a concept it seems it is, it's just not better than that SMO camera. The SMO is still better. It's full 4K, and it's light.
Johnny 5 released a review of it this morning from an FPV standpoint, and
I watched that.
It's not all crap.
No, that's no. But
so here's some footage of that beta FPV thingy, and you can see how wobbly that thing is and how bad the video is on it. I mean, it's just dancing all over the place.
It shouldn't be dancing, but it is. With that, and what's he flying that on? What's he have it mounted to?
That is the Beta F. This is this thing right here, the Beta 85X.
Right. I think anything you mount onto a small quad like that, I get these kinds of rattles, even with, especially if it looks like it's got clouds there. I bet you it's a little bit breezy.
Oh, it's really hard. It's breezy, but it shouldn't be anything like this.
Yeah, it's really hard to stabilize that. I think to get the best footage, you're going to have to take the lightest 4K camera and mount it on a heavier. You have to mount it on a heavier quad, otherwise you're not going to get smooth footage. It's like that's why 5-inch is such a good weight, because it can handle all that. It can handle the light breezes and the wind. I learned my lesson with Mr. Kroc a couple of days ago, and I put my 6-inch props back on, and I found, I got out on a windy day, and there, there's a plus and a minus to that, and if I would have had probably the 5-inch props on it, I think I might have had a smoother flight. I had a GoPro mounted at that, with that, but the 6-inch props are so like powerful that I think with even a small frame, that's why people like the 7-inch build size, because it's like having a really wide wheelbase with a car. That width, that extra inch, tends to smooth out, and then obviously you can put more battery on it and put more weight. But the key to smooth footage is you almost have to have a heavy quad, and that's, you put the bigger battery like the 2000 or the 2200s on them. And then you have to have that heavy. You have to be able to counter that wind. Even this new thing, the new DJI thing, it's having a tough time, when it gets windy. So
the Cinemavic,
yep. You can get good footage. You just got to fly with the right conditions out. It's like anything, but.
I'm just seeing Caroline Tyler chiming in. Our conversation was the TBS Source 1 HD V2 renamed, designed for DJI Digital. I'll have to look at that one too.
Hey, I'm gonna look.
And Doc Murdoch is trying to talk Sunrise Media into building something else. It's going to get dangerous.
Yeah, Doc was saying the 5 and the 7-inch and the 2200 pack. You can just all that's validating. The bigger, the heavier, the more stable. There is a good thing to have a big battery. There is a time and a purpose for that. Let's see. Micro 3D drone is the only thing. Ivan was talking about Micro 3D. He's talking about the 3D helicopters, and I think he's talking about into 3D. 3D is like insane.
He says he's got too many helicopters and helicopter parts in Banggood over a period of 5 years.
What I'm guessing though, what my assumption is when you say you're just, is 3D the company, or is he talking about 3D flight? Because when you talk about 3D flight, that's like a magician with a controller. If it's 3D, actually 3D piloting, where you've got reverse and you got no, you don't have any coast. Everything is either forward or backwards. It's, that's why it's 3D. You fly up, you fly down, you fly upside down, and you can actually fly upside down and up in 3D if you're.
There's a 3D mode on Betaflight. I mean, come on,
I accidentally had that.
Let's kick Mr. Croc over to 3D flying.
I accidentally had 3D set up on the controller a couple of times when for liftoff, and I didn't understand it. And I'm like, what the hell's going on, man? It's just when I bring the throttle down, it just crashes. Well, yeah, I'm driving it into the ground. Oh, that's just crazy. That's just another level of crazy, when you can flip it upside down and then, pull the stick back and you'll come flying up or go sideways.
Well, you just have to center up your throttle again. Controller. Put it back on the center spring.
I need rest. I need gravity. Gravity's like rest time. You get your quad as high as you can. You just cut the throttle and you just let it go. Crap, it takes a couple seconds to get down low enough where you have to get back on the throttle especially when you're flying lightweight. I think the other thing I wanted to get into today a little bit was just having people that are most everybody on the channel here is pretty familiar with FPV flight and know the difference between what it's like to fly like a 5 or a 6 or a 7-inch versus when you get down to the 2-inch, not the ducted ones, but the little 2-inch, little 2-inch, little rippers, and 3-inch, 2-inch, any of that size. And it's so much different to fly those. You get so much more you get so much more like screw up time. And that's kind of what I think a lot of people are saying, is that if you're developing, stick skills, that, it's really helpful to be able to fly those really light, small little quads. Plus you don't have to worry about registering them and all the other things. But that's what I think one of the biggest pet peeves I think a lot of people have is you can't just bind this thing to your DJI 3-inch, just like a Tango, whatever, and your DJI ready equipment and just fly 3-inch. I mean, people would learn so much faster with a little Vista, small Nebula Pro camera, little 3-inch and 4-inch props. You can literally just teach yourself.
I'm guessing, and that's next generation of Vistas and their units.
Yeah.
We'll be able to bind up with that new controller.
Because every time I switch over and I go to anytime I fly and I switch over to the small stuff, it's so easy to fly. You start to fly, you're like, oh man, this is so. And then you start taking lots more chances because crashing into things. Your downside is little to nothing. I'm going to lose a prop. What's going to cost me 50 cents? So it's, so that's the, you think about that. I always think about that. And anytime I feel rusty about flying, I don't go to a simulator. I go get the Rocket. I go get my little 2.3 inch. The Rocket is basically a 2-inch, but it's built like it's a carbon fiber and aluminum, and you can't break it. And the Emax with those little Emax props, and you can just can literally take every chance you want. You can fly through little gaps. You can fly high. You can, just gives you time to screw up,
Yeah.
And
Woody Drone Son is saying flying Curry Kitten still confusing me compared to my Mini 2. So there's the difference between flying camera drone versus FPV because the sticks are completely different.
Yeah,
Which reminds me, Curry Kitten came out with a new release today. We're now on 0.53B as in beta.
Wow. Good. A really good simulator. I think I'm gonna definitely talk simulators in the future here because there is a value to that. I think it's just like right now, like where I'm sitting right now. I'm looking outside. I've got a couple of minutes. I've got 20 or 30 minutes or an hour, before I do something, and I can just sit down, chill, bring my goggles with me, throw on a controller, and then I can fly sim. And it does work. It does help. It gets you thinking about what you're doing. Like, okay, I want to learn to fly upside down loops. Okay. And you have to think about that. You have to think through that process. You got to think, okay, what is the angle? Where's my throttle going to be because there's a counterproductive throttle. Once you get up and inverted, if you get past, where I'm talking, you're this way and your quad is basically, if you're putting your throttle on, you're not pulling back. That is where you're clearing, say you're doing a loop of some kind. That's where you're clearing the object below you. And you have to know that. You have to have that in your head. And that's where the practice comes. And you can only practice so much. You can only crash so much. And that the sim just gives you those extra attempts that you can't get
in real life.
With real, yeah. And I think it's fun too. It's, there's different challenges and things like Curry Kitten, they have, is free, it doesn't cost you anything. And you can set yourself up quite inexpensively to fly that sim, getting a real cheap controller. So you just need a controller that program is compatible with. And there's so many out there, and they're $30-$40. So yeah, there's been a lot of sim talk, and sim is definitely not the full answer, but I think it's good practice. And for a little kid who's trying to figure out the difference between what is my regular GPS drone doing when I push the throttle up and I move my sticks together, whether right or left. There's a disconnect, that you have to get over. You have to understand that both your thumbs are working together, and that this, depends on how you have it set up, whether it's mode 2 or mode 1. That always screws me up when people that have right stick throttles. I'm just like, I watch their video where they've got their controller cam, and then you're watching them. It's like, okay, something's wrong here. And then I'm looking, oh, they're flying mode 1, or they reverse it. They go, here, this is what your hand, they'll put like 2 and then they'll reverse the hand position. So you can see mode 1 and mode 2 being flown. So, and for young people, mode 1 is where your throttle is on the right, and mode 2 is what most people run, which is the throttle on the left. And then your pitch and yaw is over, or your pitch is over here on your right-hand side, which is mode 2. But how much simulator time have you had recently, Kai? Be honest. How many times have you been on the simulator, say in the last week?
None.
That I really wasn't on the simulator until I came here. I'm like, all right, I got a couple hours to kill. I'm gonna fly a little bit of simulator, and I started playing around with switching over from, just switching modes and things like that. Then I started to work on skills. I started to go through Windows I never go through windows, and I probably never will go through a Bando window ever. I will never. I don't want to do that. But the fun thing about the sim is they allow you to do that. So I'm
Well,
going through windows and I'm working power loops around fences. I'm going up on
I do
towers.
have good news for all of y'all that fly the DJI FPV things. There are plenty of people out there willing to buy crashed ones. And over the past week, I think I counted about half a dozen different guys posting in different Facebook groups that they're willing to buy whatever crashed DJI FPV units. So
For parts for theirs. They just want to have an extra unit sitting there so they can pull parts off of it. Because what do you think you get for a crashed one? Because I guess if you had Care Refresh, you could send it in, and then so $700 for a brand new one.
$749 for a new one.
What is a crashed one? Did you notice any prices?
I haven't seen any prices. No.
Oh, be interesting to see for parts. Usually they're definitely discounted, but they're not substantially discounted because they know they've got you. Especially if you have to buy an arm right now. There's just none. I guess you'd have to go into.
I don't know. Chuck said some earlier. There's an outfit that was ramping up on parts.
On parts.
I mean, here's the thing, the DJI FPV thing is not meant for people that can build. So having somebody that don't know how to solder, Cloud City Drones.
Yeah, you have to be able to solder. Usually a 3 wires minimum. I think there's a 4th wire. Isn't there a 4th wire in that arm? 3 wires are coming off the motor.
There's more. There's about 6 wires in that. You got your LED wires. You've got,
you got LEDs too.
wires,
I forgot about that.
You got your antenna.
Yeah, you got an antenna coming through there too. Yep. Yep. That's a lot of wires. Yeah, there's already shell kits now. You can buy props from China that have different colored tips. They're coloring the tips. I'm surprised that nobody's doing a clear plastic prop. Nobody's doing that yet. They're all black. They're all the same material. And the only thing they're coloring different are the prop tips. Like there's red, yellow. I think I saw red and yellow. Gold. That was yellow, red, yellow. What's the other color? I can't remember what the other color was. But nobody's doing a clear plastic like a gem fan prop. That would be so neat. I just wish one of these companies would just start pumping some out. It's just injection molding. Maybe it's because of the material that you use to screw it on. That you snap on. All right. I'm looking at chat here, guys. How are you guys all doing, by the way? Is everybody having a good Friday? It is Friday, guys. It's Friday. I'm actually going to getting ready to go out to dinner here pretty soon. Friday. They do have clear plastic gem fans. The Moonlight props. Okay. Be interesting to see where that goes, because I think that's kind of cool. Anytime you can, you can mix and match and change colors. And that makes the whole point of, part of the hobby is, color matching. His internet crapped out. Uh-oh. Oh boy. We lost the stream. I'm still here. So I'm just going to stay on. I'll stay on. I'll talk to myself for a while. See if Kai pops back in. But Yeah, so you can mix and match the plastic shells. There's our chat coming through. Let's see what that one is here. Lone Dad Random. Good. That means I'm on. Good. Excellent. Texas must be under another an internet. They probably lost. They probably lost. They probably lost their freaking grid again. Oh, somebody probably lost their. Somebody probably put a freaking like it's like putting a freaking a screwdriver on the fork of a bike onto a couple of on a couple of windmills. Turn Texas off. Texas just turned off. So customization for sure is going to be a massively cool area. He comes back in. Now we got we got the freaking. Oh, that's hilarious. Are you there? I'm all good. I haven't lost it all. We haven't I've been on the stream the whole time. I have no idea how that's working.
Well, my internet completely crapped out.
That's weird because I'm still connected, so I'm still on the same. It kept the live stream.
No,
You're obviously not crapped out now. There you go. You're back.
well, no, now I'm on my cell phone.
Okay. Hey, Kai, we know you're in Texas, so you might want to turn off the fan in your room. You might be using all of the electricity in Texas now. So if you turn off your fan, maybe a couple of lights, just to conserve.
I can look at my modem lights, and it's disconnected. The modem is disconnected.
I'm worried about the Texas power grid right now.
We ain't got a power grid. What are you worried about?
Oh, it's amazing. Think about all the air conditioners that run in Phoenix during the summer. You know, you don't hear of any rolling.
Think of all the air conditioners in Texas that run through the summer.
That's true, but we're talking Phoenix is 23 million people in just one city. You know, I guess it's surrounded by power, and then the rest of the states there's nobody.
And yes, Ben T, I am on Spectrum, unfortunately, but that's the only game in town for where I'm at. So.
Yep. Sometimes you got no choice. Power's here. Oh, Texas, TX Arch drone guy. Hey, I'm just picking on you guys. It's a little fun. Oh, I just thought I'd have a little bit of fun.
It's not the power issue; it's a freaking internet issue.
On here, come on. I'm trying to. All right, I just like looking through the chat. Okay, what's up with that? It's weird using your phone to run stuff. There we go. Everything's all tiny now.
Yeah, everything's tiny on my end too, but
there we go. It's all working. People only see the little pinhole freaking light that comes through. I can only stay with you till 5. Do we have a dinner plan yet?
Yeah, we gotta leave at 5. We gotta walk out at 5:20.
Okay, all right.
We're gonna go pick up Harrison.
Yeah, I gotta be out of here by at least 5 o'clock, so I got about 10 minutes because I got to get my butt ready. I'm mostly ready.
Well, get the rest of you ready too.
I'm pretty much ready. What do you have to do to get ready?
Even though your wife keeps saying I'm going to take the ass with me, but I mean she's referring to all of you, not just your ass.
See now, are you using your Osmo 3 right now?
No, I'm just using my hands to hold the damn phone.
Oh, I got the blue tripod right now. the one that kept like in the heat, it starts to like lean because the sticky glue that I used to kind of.
The one that you need to feed Viagra to?
That's right. It's the blue tripod. Oh, this works pretty good. I've got it all. I've got like a Gorilla Pod bottom, but it's a cheap one. It works pretty good. You can hang it from a fence if you have to do a live stream somewhere. But it's okay. You kind of, when you're running things, next time if I go out of town, we're straighten it out. Where Kai can run both streams here. I didn't have a chance to set that up. We need to do that, where you can run it from the other direction, so we can run it both ways. Make it easier. It just makes it nice. So it will broadcast to 3 different places.
There. Hold on.
It's okay. We understand. I remember those days. I need to shave. Hey, come on, Ben. Is my camera that good? You can actually see I've actually, like I said, natural light coming out the window here. Here, you guys need to see what's out the window here. Check this out. There we go. Now it's Phoenix Cam. There you go. That was Phoenix Cam there for a minute. I could have just. I think normally
I got myself on the Osmo 3 now. So
there you go. Yeah, that's
not the phone anymore.
I'm actually. You know what? Those things are going to probably be well under $100, not too long. So, and they're really good. The Osmo 3's got all the power of the Osmo 4. It just doesn't have that stupid magnetic thing that freaking sticks on your phone that nobody likes. But it basically powers up your phone, so it's charging your phone, and then it keeps it nice and level. So if you ever have to walk around, it basically is a real gimbal. This is not a real gimbal. You can tell, can't you?
You just tilted.
I know I tilted. But yeah, a lot of vloggers, they use their they use their windows, and if you face out your window, and of course you don't want to have anything with glass. I have that problem with that one, the studio at home, because anything with glass will of course reflect. You don't want any reflective surfaces, but this is a really simple backdrop. It's really nice, and it's by one of the windows, so it's kind of nice.
Yeah, that picture frame looks like you got a halo now.
You see how it's like they double too. You can see my head twice, and then if I tilt my head back, it gets even worse because my bald spot starts to. We already did the bald joke earlier. I'm already very self-conscious about that, Kai. So thank you. Every time I get my hair cut.
Well, you keep bringing it up.
What else?
Let's see. What else was new this week? We already touched on the Instago 2.
SMO is still the way to go. In my
I'd like to see a comparison between the SMO and
you can use you can use the real editing suite from Instago or Insta360. So you get the ability.
You can use that. The editing suite was the go-to too.
But can you do face? Can it follow your face and stuff?
I believe it can, yeah.
Where it can, like take a piece and keep it level based upon the image stabilizer, object stabilize. The big thing is the 4K is 4K, not just 4K 60, 4K 30. To me, I don't care if it's 4K 60 or 30. I just want it to be the real 4K. Well,
this is 2K 50. Tends to go to it.
Yeah, it's damn close. And the size. I mean, they've got everything really like.
Yeah, but I mean, it brings back the point. There's only 5 grams difference between the Instago 2 and the SMO.
And it's $50 difference in price.
60
$60. And then obviously the other one's self-contained versus one that's wired in. So if you're a person that's not very tech savvy, you could easily put the little Instago on there. There's a lot of TPU mounts, aftermarket mounts on places like Thingiverse. You can go to get those. There's a lot of advantages for the standalone unit. You can move stuff right to your phone, which can save it to your
Oh,
cloud
Doc,
storage.
I've got, Doc Murdoch says Osmo action camera on eBay for 169. I've
Wow.
got two
Well,
Osmo actions. I don't need another one. Matter of
Osmo,
fact, I have one for sale.
yeah, Osmo Action 2 is coming, man.
I've got an Osmo action camera with the additional charging kit. So 3 batteries and a 3-way charger.
Yeah, that's a good rig. Yeah, that camera pretty much will do everything you need. And you got decent quality video from it. You've got good audio coming out of it. You've got front-facing vlogging screen. It drives me crazy. They're going to bring a second version. They're going to bring a version 2 out. Of course, it's going to have something on it that's going to be interesting, but is it really going to be better than what you're already getting out of that thing? And now it's like $160, or $170, and that's just, and if you're flying that camera on, on like a 5-inch quads, I mean, your investment becomes that much, or your risk becomes that much less. That's really what I want to get into. As far as if you break it or you break a lens cover, there's, it's getting to the point where the decisions that you make on a lot of these products is becoming harder to make because you're really looking for what am I going to gain? I mean, I've got the Instago 1 and I'm just like, I could sell it and get maybe $120 for it. Maybe.
Yeah, Banshee is saying he heard about Osmo Action having jello problems from mounted on FPV. I have not observed that on mine. And I mounted my Osmo Action on the front of the Cinewhoop and the 5-inch Titan.
A lot of people's mounting issues, I think, a lot of it are just because of the way they got it mounted. I get jello because I just need to mount it better on mine. Mine is, I don't like. I wish it had the 3 1/4 inch mount. Is that the 1/4 inch bolt mount, where you can just put the screw in, tighten it up.
Here's Smith PC. Howdy.
Universal mount. I wish it was like that. It just make it easier because almost every action camera has the same mount. And then you protect the camera itself with a little bit of TPU instead of.
And yes, I am using Rocksteady. Banshee is asking.
Yeah, Rocksteady takes away this stuff, but it doesn't take away the small vibrations. So if you get vibration, you can get vibrations from bad props. There's a lot of ways that you can get vibration.
Yeah.
And so you have to figure out what's causing it first. You have to, look at that. And
I think the biggest part of jello is, well, there's 2 ways you get jello go away. Is change out your props, have a good mount, and then use a ND filter.
Yes, the ND filter works too. Also your prop pitch. If you're flying with really high pitched props, ones with that push a lot of air, you're going to get more vibration than ones that push less air. That can be an issue because when each time that prop hits that air, it's creating, it's creating turbulence. Yeah. So there's a lot of real interesting,
No, my Titan actually is fairly shallow pitch prop on it. It's a 5140.
Yeah, that's pretty shallow. And my Croc is not flying with, it's flying with really aggressive props, which I like for freestyle. It's nice. And then of course, how are you filming? Are you filming straight and level? Because if you're filming and you're doing lots of aerobatic kind of stuff and you're using a lot of gravity, it's easy to get rid of prop noise with gravity, because gravity means you're just floating in the air. It's like being in a hot air balloon and you're going with the wind. And then of course, when you're in the power parts of your flight, that's when you're going to get your, a little bit of extra vibration. The other thing is wind. If you're fighting wind or something, the stiller the air, there's a lot of different ways that you can eliminate and make your flight footage better. Having a good camera is the number one thing, and just making sure everything's kind of in tune. All right, guys, I am it's 5:01. I got to get ready to go here. I got to get ready for dinner. It's dinner time.
Yeah.
And
I'm going to get off
Phoenix.
here too and find out from Spectrum when they're going to think they're going to have my service restored.
Yeah, because he's on Wi-Fi right now, or he's on cell phone now. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool that StreamYard did this though for us. That's pretty cool. This is kind of nice. It's one advantage. Hey, we could have a meltdown and everything can still be working.
Yep.
All right, man. Hey, we'll be saying, I need to say goodbye to everybody. I'm sure you do too. But appreciate you taking over the stream for me, Kai. Really is helpful. It's nice. We can keep things rolling. Not as exciting as we normally are. Of course, we're usually a little more crazy, but hey, man, we got lives too, right?
It's been a quiet week, and
Yeah.
The loss of Rick Calver is definitely dampening the spirits a bit.
Right, and I think that's kind of that's exactly where I was going with the finish here, and is that exact same thing. It's it's hard. We're a lot of us too. There's a lot of us that are involved in this hobby that are, and many people have been in the hobby for a long time. There's a lot of older gentlemen for sure that are, it's a really good mixture of people, very old to very young. And that's kind of what we want to keep it like. That's why I don't want FPV to just turn into a young guy's thing and just be, because it's not. FPV can be enjoyed by, anybody. You just got to be willing to learn. So it's not necessarily a young man's game. You just got to figure a way in, and assuming you're interested. But if you ever thought about, the feeling of what it's like to be in an airplane with your face sticking out the nose, it definitely is going to change your perspective on flying drones for dang sure. Right, Kai?
What remark is that Doc Murdoch resembles?
He resembles that remark. What did I say?
The guy stuck out of the front, out of the windshield.
The guy with the face stuck out. I resemble that remark. It's really fun. I every time I put the goggles on and I get full control of the sticks, there's a huge change in the way you think as you're flying, and it's a good thing. It's a really cool, liberating thing. You get computer control, and then suddenly you get complete control. And when you find out you're diving and you're pulling out it's amazing. So, and like I said, I think anybody can do it. I really do.
All right, before your wife gets pissed off at me, I'm going to boot you out. I'm going to boot myself out.
All right,
y'all
have a great
weekend.
Friday, everybody. I'm out of here. Have a great
Friday. See y'all later. Have a good one.
Thank you. We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.